Hello, 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 hello. How are you? Welcome back to Stax of Wax, Stax of Wax Volume 9. That's right, I actually checked before I recorded this time, so I'm not looking like a stupid, dumb, idiot person that I usually am. But let's forget all of that, let's get right into it. Stax of Wax, for the uninitiated, is me going through my record collection, A to Z, top to bottom, and showing off what I have. Maybe it's a flex, maybe it's just something I think is cool, maybe it's something you've never heard of, maybe it's a record that everybody knows. It doesn't really matter. It's all my collection and I am here to show it off. Last time we left around the P's, I believe, and we'll be starting off with a P. It sounds so much worse out loud. But to kick things off, Patti Smith, Horses, great record. If you've never heard before, I did a Forever Spinning on this album. Definitely worth checking out. Patti Smith is simply one of the greatest punk vocalists of all time. Her art rock style on this record is absolutely leagues away from everybody else at the time. It also helps that this record was produced by John Cale, so obviously you're gonna have some great production with that. So yeah, obviously some great songs off this. The lead off track, Gloria in Excelsis Dio. I don't know how to actually pronounce it. I'm an idiot. I'm doing my best here. Free Money, which is just a riot of a song. I absolutely adore that track. And then you also get the title track, Horses. Overall, through and through, it is a fantastic record if you've never heard it before. You're definitely missing out. I do wish I had more Patti Smith records in my collection, but for right now, this'll do. Go listen to Patti Smith. You're absolutely missing out if you've never heard any of her material before. Next up, we have two records from a band that I love very much. Actually, one of them is a single from the actual record that I'm holding here. That'll be Crooked Rain, and then the 12-inch version of Range Life. Definitely my favorite Pavement song if I had to really dive into it. Probably one of my most listened songs of all time. I mean, I'm constantly listening to this song. Not so much lately, but throughout time, absolutely, I have listened to this song thousands of times. So yeah, let's just start off with the single then. It is a 12-inch, I believe I don't remember if it's 45 RPMs or not, I think it is. But yeah, Range Life on the front, and then the B-side is Raft and Coolin' by Sound. Forget what Coolin' by Sound sounds like, but Raft is a great track. Yeah, when I found this, it was like at the peak of my fandom of not only Pavement, but of the song itself, and immediately bought it. Not even a second. I picked it up, went to the register, couldn't wait to have it in my possession. Just such a great song. Everything about it I just love. I don't spin this as much as I should, but I'm just glad to have it in all honesty. Which of course brings us to the record that it is housed on. The record that calls it home. That would be Crooked Rain. Once again, I actually did make a Forever Spinning on this album. It's an interesting one. Definitely. Obviously, Pavement, kings of indie rock, alternative rock in the mid-90s. So many great songs off of this. Silence Kit, Cut Your Hair, Gold Sounds, obviously Range Life. Every single song off of this is either witty, sarcastic, off the walls, just funny, or really deep and sad and emotional, and just bring all these different types of emotions out in one record in this very cohesive, full piece. It's just one of my favorite records of all time, easily. With that being said, there are many other Pavement records that I wish I had in my possession, but when it came down to picking one, I decided to make the Forever Spinning video on this one. But hopefully I'll be filling out the rest of their catalog at some point in the future. I don't know when, but hopefully soon. By the way, this is a repress. I forget which year it was repressed, but the same goes for the Patti Smith record so far. All represses. Nothing crazy, all on black vinyl, not even like 180 gram, just standard stuff, so nothing really interesting in there. I gotta remember to talk about that kind of stuff more. I'm pretty bad about that as of late. Hopefully I'll remember as the video goes on that, or I'll just look like a jackass. Next up, it is Pearl Jam's 10. This is obviously a reissue because this is not the same cover that the actual album has. I forget, I think this is like a 20th anniversary edition or something along those lines, some special edition. One of the first records that I bought because I loved this record for so long, and still do love the record, but just haven't listened to it as much as of late. Get a cool gatefold here with all of the lyrics, different artwork. It looks pretty darn cool. I don't know if you can really see it too well. Obviously some legendary grunge songs off of this record. You got Once, Even Flow, Jeremy, Why Go, Black. Just so many good songs on this record. Easily one that you can listen to from front to back. and really have no problems with it whatsoever, or at least if you're me, because that's just how I was when I first listened to this album. But the cool thing is, this is a double LP, although typically it would just be a single LP, both on black vinyl, and the second LP it's basically just a redux version of the original one with different production stylings, different, sounds and stuff like that. I obviously still prefer the original version, but it is pretty darn cool that I was able to get, two for the price of one basically when buying this record. So yeah, that does it for Pearl Jam. I would love to get Vitalogy at some point. I remember when I first looked it up years ago, I think it was pretty damn expensive. I don't remember now. I just haven't checked on it. But hopefully at some point that will be in my possession. Speaking of classics, we have two classics right here from the great Pink Floyd. Dark Side of the Moon, obviously. A repress of this record. You might have seen this on the Forever Spinning episode that I made on this album. Very, very interesting story behind this record. Definitely worth checking out that video if you get the chance. Yeah, I mean, obviously considered one of the greatest albums of all time by so many different people. I love it. It is not my favorite Pink Floyd record. I do adore it very, very much. But when you have so many legendary albums underneath your belt, it is very, very hard to keep up with the legacy of this being the best one when there are just so many good ones to choose from. Actually, a buddy of mine got me this back in high school. Yeah, just a standard black. It came with 2 posters and stickers or something like that. I don't remember. They're obviously not in here anymore, or else I would have seen them, but they're not there. It's a cool design. I like it. I like the gatefold of this. It looks great. It's got a cool texture to it. It's a good album, obviously. I don't spin it as much as I should. Just don't listen to that much Pink Floyd anymore at this time in my life, but it is amazing to have in my possession still. The next Pink Floyd record that I have here is Metal. Amazing album. I love this record. It is definitely an underrated one in their discography. This is also not my favorite Pink Floyd record. That would be Animals, and I need to get my hands on that at some point in the future. But still, I do love owning this. This is such a great record to own on vinyl, as many Pink Floyd records are. But this one is totally underrated as far as a great one to have and to listen to and to play. And it's one of those records that gives you the full experience when you do listen to it on vinyl. And that's not me just trying to sound like a snob or nothing like that. It just really does have a different aura to it when you hear it on wax. And the interesting thing is, this is an original US pressing of it. I was able to get this at Jerry's Records in Pittsburgh. I didn't pay that much for it either. It was pretty cheap as far as, what I would expect an OG pressing to go for. Obviously, the cover is not in the best shape in the world. It's not bad. I would say probably good to maybe very good, because there are no real splits or seams or anything like that. It just looks worn. But the vinyl itself is in pristine condition, which is pretty crazy. It sounds fantastic. There's no crackle. There's none of that different crap. It sounds so good, especially side 2 with Echoes. One of my favorite Pink Floyd songs of all time. Just such an amazing, calming track. If you've never heard this record and you consider yourself a fan of Pink Floyd in any sense of the term, you are absolutely missing out. So yeah, that's Metal. That's Pink Floyd. And the next record is one that you might not know, and that's totally fine. It is a Philadelphia noise rock group. That would be Plaque Marks, Anxiety-Driven Nervous Worship. Front to back, this record kicks ass. It leaves you seething by the end of it. You just want to punch a hole in the wall. And despite this being a 12-inch record, it is 45 RPMs. It is a very short record. Many of the songs do not last very long, but check that out. I mean, that is gorgeous. This is easily still one of my favorite records that I own as far as the coloring and the way that it looks, the way that it sounds. It's a fantastic album. I know they are working on a new record at some point. It should be coming out, hopefully soon enough. I think they're looking for a new label to get onto. So we'll see what happens on that front. Oregon Chemtrail and Anxiety-Driven Nervous Worship off of this album just are fantastic noise rock tracks. So yeah, give it a listen. Expand your musical taste and give this a shot. And if you hate it, you hate it. If you love it, I'm very glad to hear that. Next up, The Police, Synchronicity. That's a hand-me-down from my mom, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember if this is an original or close to original pressing. I never really did enough research on it to find that out. Standard black vinyl with it. But this is a fantastic Police record, probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite Police record. Walking in Your Footsteps, Every Breath You Take, obviously the two hits off of this thing. But overall, it's a fun listen. I really do enjoy listening to this album. It's definitely one that I play a lot more than I would think, considering I just don't listen to this type of music very often, not this genre as much. But yeah. It's a good record. I mean, obviously, it has stood the test of time. Obviously, some of these songs still play on the radio today. Very famous record. But that's pretty much all that I have to say on this. Just, few words for this record here. And next up, we have Prince. If I'm not mistaken here, this is an original pressing of Purple Rain. These were actually both my uncle's. He is a huge Prince fan. But he moves around a lot. He gave me a bunch of Prince records. I figured I'd show off this and Around the World in a Day, just because, this is probably an original. I'd have to do a little bit more research on it. Probably should have done that before the video. Idiot. But I'll be honest, I have never seen the movie. I have been meaning to. I've heard that, not the best movie in the world, but I think that it is definitely something that I should see at some point. Plus, I do love... it's not in the best shape. I'll be honest with you, this is not in good shape as far as both the record itself and the cover. But I love the design of this. I really do. I love the flowers on the back. They just look awesome. Really intricate detail and stuff like that. So yeah, that is Purple Rain. And like I said, Around the World in a Day, this is in horrible condition. I need to get a new version of this. But the reason that this is pretty damn special, nervous to open up, I don't want the record to fall out. This is, there we go. This is actually a promotional copy of the album. So this is an original pressing, and this was a promotional copy that they used when they're giving it out to, radio stations, stuff like that, maybe record stores. So that is pretty darn cool. If it was in better shape, this album would be a lot of money. But it's not, and that's okay. I'm just glad to have it in my possession. I think it's really cool that I can have a promotional copy. And I'm not even a huge Prince fan. I've just never really gotten into him. I'm kind of intimidated by the discography. I think it's a little too expansive for me. But, it's still awesome to have this. It just really is cool. I love the artwork on all of Prince's records, especially this one. If this wasn't falling apart, it looks so much better. Just the bright colors, color palettes that he chose. Just really awesome. I don't even know the artist's name. I kind of wish I knew it. So yeah, that's Prince, or some of the Prince records that I have. Usually on this show, I only go through 10 records at a time, but considering the upcoming holiday of Halloween in a week or two here, probably 2 weeks once this video goes up. But I thought that I'd pull this next record out as a little treat. It just came in the mail for me, and it would be the next record anyway on the list as far as alphabetical goes. So, what the hell. And that would be Pumpkin Witch, The Final Strike of the Pumpkin Witch. This is a Death Bomb Arc release. I don't know if you know them. They're the people that did JPEG Mafia, Death Grips, all of those clipping. So many great groups have come out of Death Bomb Arc, and they got the pressing rights to press this record on vinyl. This is the third installment of the Pumpkin Witch series, and more or less the music behind this is very drone-based. It is creepy. Think of your favorite type of horror movie soundtrack, and this is pretty much going to be along the same lines as that. But it is a fantastic album. The pressing it's a double LP. It is a half-speed remaster, so it sounds awesome, so 45 RPMs. And the cool thing is, it is on this really nice green vinyl. Looks great, sounds great. And yeah, I was lucky enough, I got this record on a deal with Death Bomb Arc. It was 25 bucks and they called it like the Trick or Treat bundle. So I got this, I got an album by Drug, and then I got an album by Robador, along with a Psychic Graveyard cassette and Jonathan Snipes of Clipping. He did a film score. I haven't listened to that yet. I think it was The Nightmare or something like that. Actually, nope, give me 1 second, we'll see. Yes, I'm correct. The Nightmare. But yeah, they're an awesome label. Death Bomb Arc, definitely worth checking out. And listening to this album too, it gives great spooky vibes for Halloween coming up here. Overall, just an interesting listen. And it's worth, like I say, trying to expand your taste. I would have never thought that I would have liked a band like this. Listened to the album, said it was great, ended up buying it on vinyl. So, that is all that I have for you this week on Stax of Wax. I still do not know what the scheduling will be as far as when these will be released. I'm thinking it's just going to be on weeks that I don't have a forever spinning ready or planned or whatever it may be if I fall behind, which is why it's being uploaded this week anyway. So it'll definitely not have a consistent schedule as much, but it will be happening once in a while. And I know the next time I'll do a Stax of Wax, it will be the singles edition, so more 7 inches, some interesting ones in there for sure. It's a shame I didn't have that many interesting records in this collection here this time around, but you know, at least got to see some Plaque Marks, some Pumpkin Witch, that cool Prince record, the Range Life single. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you're still around at this point, what the hell are you doing? But if you're still around at this point, actually make sure to subscribe for more videos just like this, along with So You're Interested In, where I break down artist discography to give you the best place to start off with when getting into their catalog, and Forever Spinning, which is just basically a video history essay on a classic album. Still working out the kinks for new shows. That will hopefully I'll be able to announce soon enough. We'll see. Just life in general right now, it's just hectic as all hell. Can't really make any promises at this point. And yeah, that about does it. I can't believe if you stuck around this long, you don't have much of a life. I hate to say it, but I don't either, so we're kind of all in this together, you know. It is what it is. Alright, I will see you in the next Stax of Wax video. Wear a mask, be kind to one another, kick out the jams, and find new music, go listen to it, and buy some vinyl. Support your local record store. Hell yeah!